He's 40 feet away near the timeline. Now Jimmer sizing up Moss. Oh, no. Oh, yes! Oh, yes!
Oh, no. Oh, yes. Jimmer Range is back. But more importantly, college basketball is back. We actually have games to talk about. I'm your host, Carl Heiser, joined as always by my co-host, Alex Cervantes. Alex, we finally made it.
We have
games to talk about, man.
It's that time of the year. It's so good.
I think a good talking point to open the show is the Louisville Cardinals. It seems like that's a name that's hot on people's lips these days. They're a disaster.
Do they get to get it's Bellarmine City now? Like, do they get to even be called Louisville? Can they just be the Cardinals?
That's true.
Is it too early to just strip their name?
The Yum Center team.
The Yum Center team?
Yeah. It's like the Washington the Yum Center basketball team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Louisville opened their season with an exhibition loss to Lenoir-Rhyne. It's a middle of the pack Division II school. They finished like below 500 last year. Then they played Chaminade pretty close. That's another D2 school. And then they opened their season with a loss to a team that was a D2 school 2 years ago. It's funny to me how people were shocked by the Bellarmine loss. Like, oh my goodness, what an upset. It's like, first of all, we've known Louisville wasn't going to be good. They have two guards on their roster that are on scholarship. And L. Ellis they looked okay. Like they did. He played decently well, but it just like they can't play 40 minutes a night, you know. And Bellarmine's a team that won their conference tournament last year. So it's like it wasn't the most surprising thing in the world to me, but Louisville is not good.
Also, Scott Davenport runs the system. This is not a unique take, but like Scott Davenport runs a system that you as a team that you just assembled heading into the season under a first-year head coach, I would not recommend playing them in your first game. Dare I say. But it was just – listen, it's Payne's first game, so like you give him a pass a little bit, but it felt – parts of it felt like coaching malpractice, I think. Maybe that's too harsh, but like why it really felt like because I watched the game from beginning to end. Their first 5 possessions all felt like they ended in threes. They knocked the first couple down, and then they opened like a 5-point lead, I think, and the Bellarmine started to go. Bellarmine went on a 13-0 run, and then it was 25-11. It's just like respectfully, if you're going to play a bunch of wings and forwards, and you have that size advantage and that athleticism. You have to use it. And they did it in the second half. They got inside. They were more physical. They were pressing, right? They were doing all these things to rush a Bellarmine team that, does not want to be rushed, obviously. They want to go late in the shot clock. They want possessions to go long. The ball doesn't touch the floor. It's fluid. They're always moving. When you speed them up, you make them put it on the deck. And that's what Louisville did, but they just – they'd already put them in the bonus so early in the second half, and then at that point, Bellarmine was just – they were shooting free throws. And then, again, why is the shot you take with 10 seconds left in the game a pull-up contested mid-range jumper? That is the best shot you can get on a baseline out of bounds.
Yeah. Get to the rack. Get fouled.
Thank you. The refs were calling it.
They absolutely were. I was convinced the refs wanted Louisville to win with the way
they were calling everything. So, please get to the rack. L. Ellis, why are you taking 11 threes?
Yeah.
Why?
To your point about Bellarmine's system, it is a thing of beauty to watch, and definitely not the type of thing you want to coach against in your first game. But at the same time, for the caliber of athlete that Louisville has, they were getting caught flat-footed way too much. And you can tell they want to be this really dynamic offensive team. But I've said this before, they need to lean into the fact that all they have is length and athleticism and be this defensive-minded team this year. Because they just don't have the firepower on offense. They just don't. And we saw they got better as the game went on. They just ran out of time. That's all it was. If you had another 5 minutes on the clock, Louisville might pull that game out. Because once they started being we should press this team, we should play defense. And then suddenly Bellarmine, they went for long stretches without a bucket.
Yeah.
So if that's the type of thing that they realize, hey, we should try to do this for the rest of the season, I think they might be okay.
Mhm.
I still don't think they'll be good, but
No.
you won't be losing to Division II opponents. You won't be that caliber of team.
Do you because their schedule, I feel like it's Wright State and then it's who's their third game? It's App State. So it's Wright State, then App State, and then they have the Maui. Are you confident they win one of those games?
One of those games?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they can beat Wright State's not a gimme. I think they can definitely beat App State though.
They should beat App State. But
they should be both of those.
It's just it's to a point where now you've got to overreact a little bit. You obviously have to sound the alarms.
Yeah. I'm not going to pretend like I was totally shocked. But it's the type of thing where you can't lose that game.
Bellarmine plus 8.5, plus 10.5, whatever it was, felt like a lock.
Yeah, absolutely. To the point that people were like, don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's too easy. It can't be this easy. Yeah. What's your thoughts on the sort of the slate of games up to this point? Because going through ESPN, I think we want one of these marquee matchups like we're going to get on the weekend. Mm-hmm. And flipping through the ESPN, slate of games, there's a lot of those blank shield icons for schools that don't have their logos on ESPN. Sure. It's half the games.
I think I saw a tweet from Jeff Goodman today. We're recording this on Thursday. That half of the D1 teams playing today were not playing a Division I opponent, and that was 32 of 64 teams. And so it's unfortunate because of just the nature of how this shook out. It's obviously an election year, so you can't really do anything about what the typical thing is. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I'd be as much I haven't been as much of a Debbie Downer, I would say, about it. I've enjoyed watching some of these. It really forces me to watch more of these low majors, mid majors than I would this early in the season. Mm-hmm. So that's a major plus to me. And yeah, it's just been fun to kind of see the staggered starts. Plus we have we have other Power 6 teams staggering. Indiana's playing today on a Thursday. Notre Dame played their season opener today. It's just you are afforded an option as a Power 6 team to kind of delay it so you're not all on that Monday. Would I have liked to see the Champions Classic start the season? Yeah, obviously everyone would have. But I don't think it's bad. And more so because it also knocks out some of these. Whereas we start with the Champions Classic and then we get into they're playing cupcake games before we get to Feast Week. We are getting these early just kind of giddy up. I don't know why I'm blanking on the term, but just early non-conference, not tests for these Power 6 teams out of the way. And we'll get to
I saw a video actually a couple of hours ago before we started this, and it was from Heat Check Hangout. So it was Connor and Brian. And Connor actually made a point that I hadn't thought about. I wholeheartedly agree with it. And it's that this might actually make the product much better when we actually do get these kind of marquee matchups that we want to see. Because, we saw North Carolina not look as good as we maybe wanted them to. We saw Creighton struggle for a little bit with St. Thomas. And it's give them a couple games, to work it out and maybe improve a little bit so that they're not in mid-season form, but just I think it's good that they get these opportunities to ramp up before they actually have to play somebody really challenging.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we get better games down the line.
That's a good take.
I think it's a great take. And I really hadn't thought about it because I'm so busy. I wish we got Gonzaga, Michigan State earlier, but I'm willing to wait. It's only a couple days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get these
we're
games.
fine with it. And it makes its arrival so much sweeter.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's better for the fans. It doesn't feel like it now, but it is better for the fans that these games are happening a little bit later.
Sometimes it's just better to wait a little bit.
So with some of these games, there's not really a lot of takeaways, right? A lot of teams took care of business in the way that we expected them to. Gonzaga won in a blowout. Kentucky won in a blowout.
Even without Sheboy.
And Casey Wallace showed out. Near triple-double.
He's a dog.
Baylor beat the
Baylor.
brakes off Mississippi Valley State.
It's
But then you
Mississippi
get
Valley
these
State.
games. Yeah. You get these games, though, where people did not take care of business, right? I mentioned North Carolina and Creighton, who still won. They still won those games, but
by double digits.
By double digits, but still not to the degree that maybe we expected them to,
Yeah.
But it's not – this happens. Like, it's not a panic button situation.
Mm-mm.
Is there any team that you're hitting the panic button for?
Oh, jeez. Louisville? No, I'm kidding. Like among a top 25 team?
No top 25 team lost.
Exactly. So, like, I would – because I watched most of Duke's game, I want to have a little bit of concern about their offense, but they are without their two best players, and that's obviously that really shouldn't give anyone pause for concern yet. Jeremy Roach, I think, had all 16 of his points in the first half. A little bit concerned. Tyrese Proctor went 0 for 8 from the field. But they were so engaged defensively. I know I sent you that text. They allowed 13 points in the first 9 minutes of the game. And then from then on out, they allowed just 1 point per minute, which is just absurd. I get that it's Jacksonville, but that is that's a top 3 team in the ASUN. And obviously we just saw what Bellarmine did to another ACC school. So maybe a little bit worrisome, like they're about to play Kansas in 5 days, But Lively is expected to return tomorrow, so we'll see. I don't know, Providence, maybe you push the button a little bit. You're pegged as a top 5 team in the Big East. Should be a quality Rider team by a point, but it's also it's hard because you're both looking at these games and well, this is kind of all these concerns, all these questions we had in the preseason, right, in our preview episodes. That's kind of what came to fruition for Providence a little bit. But yeah, is there – South Carolina and Georgetown did not look good. But again, that's one of the they're in the bottom, they're in the basement of their respective conferences.
Yeah.
But there's no reason that South Carolina should only beat South Carolina State by 3. Georgetown shouldn't have had to go into overtime against Coppin State, who played 24 hours earlier and lost to Charlotte by 23.
Yeah.
Those two things are concerning. LSU, I didn't watch the whole game. Now I'm just rattling off games I saw. LSU looked all over the place a little bit. But they won. You take care of business against Kansas City. I don't know if there's a team I'm pumping the brakes on yet.
I think there might be a couple for me.
USC lost to San Diego State. So USC lost to Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said San Diego State. But yeah. Who are they for you?
I'm a little nervous initially about TCU.
Oh, that's true. Good point.
They gave up 46 points in the first half to Arkansas Pine Bluff, and it's not like a middle of the pack, mid-major squad. They're bad. They're going to be bottom 30 in KenPom this year. They're really, really not good. So to give up 46 points, especially as a team that's supposed to be a really stout defensive team, that worries me a little bit. I think they'll figure it out. They only gave up 26 in the second half, but that concerns me a little bit. I'm not ready to walk back my take that Florida State would finish as a top 5 team in the ACC.
Okay.
But losing to Stetson is a rough look.
It is.
It's a rough look. I expected a bounce back from the Seminole team just because injuries were a big issue for them last year. And coming to the year, pretty much fully healthy, I would think that we would really see Leonard Hamilton work his magic and make this team into one that was top 25 caliber again, which is where I had them to start the year, and that's not looking like it's quite true. North Carolina, we can talk about this game. So North Carolina enters the season as the number 1 team in the country. They beat UNC Wilmington, but they only won by 13 points is kind of a weird thing to say, but it wasn't even like anybody on North Carolina played particularly poorly. Baycott played well. He gave you 16 and 9.
Pretty typical.
RJ Davis and Caleb Love each contributed 17 points. But the big problem that they had was depth. Nobody did anything off the bench. which was a concern entering the year that the depth wasn't going to be there for them. We know exactly what that 5 is. It's one of the best 5s in the country. But after that, it's like, please, Seth Trimble, like, do something. And I forget what the specific number was, but so many. Did they have like 4 assists the whole game?
It was 4.
Yeah,
it was 4.
That's not promising.
Also, I found it concerning in 34 minutes of play, Pete Nance had 3 shots. Maybe
he's not going to get the volume Manic did.
I know, but okay, maybe I think I'm just a little more biased, but like he plays the 3rd most minutes on your team.
Mm-hmm.
I just figured he would get those looks, but
yeah,
at least more than 3 in your opener. But I don't know. It's just I just chalk that one up more sort of like early season rust. I'm not concerned about this team. Like the depth, but I think the depth is so reliant on guys who didn't play last year that it's also going to take them time. Seth obviously wasn't on this team. Nickel was not on this team. Styles and Dunn obviously didn't get heavy minutes for them. Puff Johnson is not healthy yet. Jalen Washington isn't healthy yet. So there are pieces that are going to take some time. But they don't play anyone serious till the end of the month. So they have time. I guess they go to the PK 85, but which is, again, at the end of the month. So, like, they're going to have time to sort it out.
Yeah.
So, like, I get it. I mean, Charleston's a good test. Charleston's always a good test for them. It's a good barometer, good test mark. But they should – I'm not really worried about them handling business. The three-headed monster is going to carry them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is just they need to ramp up. That's all it is. Like there's no team that had such an off performance where I'm totally out on anybody after 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
It was a lot of I think most of the teams that we expected to look really good looked really good.
Really good.
And there were some teams that we expected to not look good that didn't look good.
Yep.
South Carolina.
Yep.
Pretty unanimous. Like, this is the worst roster in the SEC.
And they look like
they go down to the wire against South Carolina State.
Yep.
Only win by 3. And it was a situation where I'm going to look at Gigi Jackson's specific stats. Yeah, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 7 for 15.
He did what he should.
But it's going to be – he's going to get a lot of shots this year. And people are going to guard him much more closely than anybody on his team. So he's probably going to be really inefficient, and South Carolina is going to be really bad. It's going to be Anthony Edwards at Georgia, just different position, but it's going to be the same sort of deal, I think.
It's a good take.
Also, Georgetown is still
bad,
not good. But our big hot take for them was like they're not.
We're so optimistic.
They're not bottom 2. They're just bottom 3 in the Big East, which isn't raising the bar all that much higher.
No, it isn't. But
for me, though, the season really starts like tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow being Veterans Day, depending on when this episode comes out. Absolutely. We have the Carrier Classic, and that's a big, big event. It's a lot of fun, right? They're playing on an aircraft carrier. Gonzaga, Michigan State.
It's been a decade.
I think it gets lost on people, though. Like, yeah, it's cool they're playing on an aircraft carrier, but does anybody ever stop and think about how utterly ridiculous that is? That a top 5 team in the country is playing outdoors on a boat.
With condensation?
Yeah. As somebody who has, I'm sure, the very unique experience of having played basketball both inside and outside, I can tell you those two things are much different.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
And people, this is going to be a thing at the end of the season where, they put up the resume graphic on CBS when they're doing the selection show. It's like Gonzaga big wins versus Michigan State without any, this was outdoors.
So do you want that to be an asterisk next to it? That are you saying that it's a bigger deal if this game is close or if it's
It's definitely a bigger deal if Michigan State wins, because if this isn't a closed environment, I don't see any way that Michigan State wins this game.
Yeah.
But you're just throwing in so many like weird factors that
you got the win.
It is
you got,
possible
like,
that they somehow pull this game out.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that worries me a little bit, because I just don't understand why it's not an exhibition game or like a pay-per-view like charity thing like they did for Tennessee. Like this is a legitimate regular season game that is going on their record.
Yep.
That's crazy.
America though.
America. That's true.
But America. I don't
the troops.
It's just fun. You know, that's what the non-conference is supposed to be. It's not supposed to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying to set aside any concerns I may have and just drive up to Minnesota and enjoy it. But yeah, I mean, are there any other games that like stick out to you tomorrow? I know for me, like I'm looking forward to like the Barstool Classic, at least the early game. UAB Toledo is going to be fun.
It's going to be great.
Gonna be a lot of fun. And then also like I just had it and I gotta like look back.
Belmont Furman.
Yep, Belmont Furman's underrated. There was another I'm just going back down, Liberty, Alabama.
That's a good one.
Darius McGee against just Alabama in general.
Yeah.
And then gosh, there was one more. Mostly this last one is mostly due to intrigue. But Amoni Bates sat out the opener for Eastern Michigan and is expected to suit up in Ann Arbor for his first collegiate game back home.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Those are four like I think I'm gonna keep the most tabs on, and then but yeah, it's just gonna be a good game. It's just gonna be a good day.
Yeah, we can talk about Toledo UAB, two of the best mid majors in the country.
Yep.
Who both looked very good in their opening game. Jelly Walker dropped a 30-piece. 38 points. He looked awesome.
Absurd.
Yeah. He looked really good. Toledo's offense still looks really good, even without Ryan Rollins. Yep. They still have JT Shumate. They still have Cedric Milner. Still a very good, like, balanced offensive team that can definitely make a play for an at-large bid out of the MAC. I think it's them and Kent State out of the MAC, those two teams.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to talk about Davidson, dude.
I was gonna segue it. Yeah, 38 and 11 and 9.
Our darling boys at Davidson.
How respectfully you were down like 18 in the first half, and then you send this game to double OT. Foster Lawyer was limping off the court, whether due to cramps or something else, after putting up 38, 11 and 9. He's averaging 34 a game, like through 2 games. It is just amazing.
It was a crazy game. I don't remember how big Wright State's lead got up to. It was like 16, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
They were up by. Davidson comes storming back.
They were up 16 at halftime.
You love to see it.
I can't describe. It was just so much fun watching. It's just one of those games, you know? And like if this was – it's kind of like if this was any other start to the season, that's probably one many would skip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now it's like it's prime time. It's on ESPN Plus for those who have subscriptions.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And it's just right there. And you just see Foster Lawyer cooking on just an unprecedented level. The lead actually got to 21.
In the second half? Or in the first half?
In the first half. The lead was 21 at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, Davidson just – so much fun.
I figured they would take a step back.
As they should.
Losing Michael Jones, losing Hyun Jung Lee.
Yep. It's tough. You know, and Bryakovich.
Plus Bob McKillop's out.
Yep.
As head coach. So
it is, but you know, they really only went 7 deep. Foster Lawyer played 48 minutes of 50 possible minutes. San Monego went 36, Bailey 40. And they can shoot. I mean, they can always shoot. They did miss 14 free throws, which is, I feel like, not par for the course.
Yeah.
But I just can't get over it. He had 38, 11, and 9. And Wright State was like, they were just operating in like super small pick and rolls, and then they were just going under. And Foster Lawyer was just stepping into wide open threes. And then they were all just like, what do we do? It was just so much fun. I saw a tweet from Rob Dosser. I think it was last night. He was like, he was like, the Field of a 68 had already recorded like their A10 pod. He was like, the player of the week had already been named and it wasn't Foster Lawyer. And he almost put up a 38-point triple-double. But I wonder if Tom Izzo would have let him cook like this.
No way. There's zero chance. There's zero chance. If you told me that Michigan State Foster Lawyer was pulling this off, there's no way.
I would laugh in your face, but it's amazing.
There's just no shot.
Literally think about, what was it? It's almost 2 years ago at this time. He tripped and fell and Trey Jones like stepped on him for like that and one. I guess it was 3 years ago. But yeah, that was like 3 years ago. Now he almost has a 40-piece in the second game of the year. Just so good. I love David. The cardiac cats.
It is weird that I don't have any major takeaways about power conference teams, really.
No.
They can't be explained away by it's the first game of the season. A lot of the mid-majors, though, I'm very excited for.
Yeah.
Portland looked really good yesterday.
Yep.
As a Shante Liggins believer, I'm here for it. Belmont, buzzer beater in their first game.
Shout out Cade Tyson. Absolute walking bucket, Monroe's finest.
True freshman, first college game.
College game. Couldn't ask for more. 18 points. Shout out Hunter Tyson, too, his older brother, 19-13 in Clemson's opener. Just representing Piedmont High School well.
Yep. Good day to be a Tyson.
Great day to be a Tyson, honestly. It was so good. Just cool to see.
There's some underrated sicko games on the schedule tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Really underrated.
There's always sicko games.
I'm looking at Florida A&M and Oregon State.
I got called a sicko last night. I'm sitting at the campus paper and I have 4 college basketball games on anything that I could pull up. It's a Wednesday night in the newsroom. But, college basketball doesn't stop for print deadlines. What else can we say? But, yes. Is St. Joe's going to be able to compete with Houston? Should I even try to watch that?
There's no shot.
I don't think so either, but, it's going to be a solid day.
Houston's such a dangerous team because –
Oh, my gosh. Manhattan versus Central Connecticut tomorrow?
Appointment television, dude.
It might be. I might have to turn away from the Carrier Classic to watch that.
Crazy.
Also, Kansas State versus Cal is such a random Power 6 meeting on a Friday. And
oh, I saw that. Yeah.
It's such a random meeting between two of Power 6s. But it's so crazy. Kansas State's the consensus worst team in the Big 12, and they should obliterate Cal.
Yeah, they should be fine.
Yeah. I do want to know. What are your takeaways? You obviously went to watch Maryland play Niagara. What are your takeaways? Yeah. Mm-hmm. First game, totally overreact.
I figured that Dante Scott would be the guy that we run things through, and that appears to be the case. Okay. He's also stretching the floor again. He shot the ball really well as a sophomore, but then it kind of dipped last year. So one of my questions was is he going to be able to get back to that type of shooting? And first game, he goes 4 for 5 from 3, which was really encouraging. So if he can keep that type of production up, obviously he's not going to shoot 80% from 3 for the whole year, but just having that ability to stretch the floor, I think will really help this offense because Don Carey, he came in as a career 37% shooter and he went 0 for 6 or 1 for 6 or something. And
love to see it.
Then I don't think he shot particularly well against Western Carolina in the first half from what I saw. Julian Reese is going by Juju Reese now, which that's a new thing.
Okay.
I don't know. But
all right.
I mean, he looked fine.
Okay.
As long as he can rebound and stay out of foul trouble, I don't really have a ton of thoughts on him. And then Jameer Young, I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be really good for us. I think it's going to be Jameer Young and Dante Scott, basically. And then we got some good minutes because it was, Niagara, and we dealt with them pretty easily. I did get to see some good minutes from Noah Batchelor, who's a true freshman, 3-star. Jahari Long played a good amount, and he followed Willard from Seton Hall. So I was wondering what his role was going to be. And then Ian Martinez looked better than I thought. I don't really remember him doing anything where I was like, wow, Ian Martinez. But I mean, he was out there a lot and was like active on the defensive end. And so that's just kind of what I want is like solid minutes from the depth pieces. Cause I don't really see a lot there. So if that's what we get, then I'm happy with it.
Okay. You want to hear about Northwestern?
Yeah.
I mean, no one does.
What do we got on Northwestern from their
all right?
game?
So Northwestern, it was the least complete 31-point blowout I've ever seen. I don't know how to explain it. It was like this late barrage of threes. Like the basketball just totally opened up, and that's what allowed this game to like explode to the scoreline that it was. They shot 32 free throws. 32 free throws. They made 27, which is awesome.
Active whistle, though.
Very active whistle. Collins, the concerning thing was like at the press conference, Collins goes, yes, Chicago State, we knew they were a super physical team. And like it made it hard for us to get into our offensive sets, which is super concerning. If you're this early in the season, it said you can't get into your offensive sets against Chicago State. So they ended up just kind of like trying to attack and kick out. They took 21 threes, but Ty Berry took half of those on his own. I did enjoy like – so the interesting thing that kind of was established was that Chase Audige was kind of going to become more of like a true point guard than Bowie.
Yeah.
And it did happen. Like Audige posted a career high 9 assists. He looked great. He showed really great flashes in the exhibition, and then he just followed it up in this one. It was good because he's a great competitor, so I don't want to say like he checked out in games last year when his shot wasn't falling, but like you were only getting positive contributions defensively when his shot wasn't falling. Like he wasn't really trying to create last year. This year, it seems like it's a total opposite. He's trying to get his teammates involved. Again, the 9 assists. He had some excellent skip passes that, like, it was just Ty Berry missing the shot. He easily could have had a double-double off of points and assists.
Yeah.
Him not hitting a shot. He only took 2 shots in the first half, which was a little concerning. I figured he would try and shoot more. Brooks Barnhizer looked excellent as their 6th man. I'm not sure I really buy the like hype going in. He was injured for most of last season, but there was a lot of preseason praise and noise surrounding him. He played 27 minutes, only put up 5 and 5, but just he was all over the place defensively. It's just a workhorse. He was crashing the glass. So I'm excited to see like what he can bring. Julian Rupert, like as the other kind of like 3-and-D wing, is out with an undisclosed injury. So I wonder like how that impacts anything, but Ty Berry, as expected, he's just kind of hoisting threes, which he made 4 of them, so you shoot 40%, that's fine, I guess. Bowie, the struggles like around the rim. He really does. He's not a good finisher. He missed a lot of like touch shots at the rim, which is, incredibly concerning because he was doing well. Like his footwork is good, but then it just seems when he puts that shot up, there's something missing, and it just like clanks off the back iron.
Yeah.
I'm again concerned about their front court. They were getting killed. They were down 10-3 on offensive boards at the end of the first half, which can't happen against Chicago State. Their tallest player is 6'9".
Yeah.
Like your reason can't be that they're athletic. Respectfully, you have multiple people of 6'10" or higher.
Yeah. Respectfully, you're a Big Ten team.
Respectfully, yeah, you're a Big Ten Power 5 school. Please rebound.
Please, yeah.
Titus Verhoeven fouled out in 21 minutes as their starting center.
21?
Yeah, 21 minutes. We saw some small ball Robbie Barron at the 5. He put up a career-high 20, but half of those came at the free throw line. Sufficient, though. So that's massive. He's going to lean on the captain so much this year. But they're obviously not going to each shoot at least 8 free throws a game. Yeah. So the concerns shooting from the field are still there. It's early season, but the first real barometer we're gonna get of this team is in Cancun. Like they're gonna play Liberty, and then they'll play, if they beat Liberty, they'll play Auburn. So those are the two barometers. Like I'm chalking most of this up to first game, but it was at least a step because they struggled in their first game last year, and that was with their two best players in Pete Nance and Ryan Young. Now They don't have them, and they at least look competent.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just – and you're not going to get 49 a night from your three captains, So
yeah.
It's just – I don't know where to, place expectations right now. But I'm trying to temper them. It was way too optimistic of a first game.
Yeah, we don't really have a ton of things to talk about yet because nobody of substance has really played each other.
And nobody of substance, no one's lost, so we can't overreact to anything.
Yeah, we can't even overreact other than TCU almost lost.
TCU looked bad for 38 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to, the fact that the thing that most people are reacting to was Louisville losing.
Says a lot.
That says a lot about the types of games that we've been seeing because Louisville's not good. So if that's the game that you're really hanging your hat on is wow, what a game.
Yep.
We don't really got much. I mean, USC, they lost. That was
USC was going to be a top 6 Pac-12 team anyway.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about USC is I don't feel terrible about putting them 4th or 5th in the Pac-12, even with that loss, because the teams that I have finishing below them are worse. So just objectively worse.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the only other one was Florida State, and I think they'll just get better.
I trust Leonard Hamilton in that case.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to trust Hamilton right now.
Yeah, nothing to overreact to. Even the teams that maybe disappointed still won by double digits. So it's not a whole lot to say. But after this weekend,
there'll be stuff to say.
We'll have takes, man.
I'm going to have takes flying.
We'll have some takes. That's fine. I'm just happy it's back.
It really is. It's just the most wonderful time of the year,
It's true.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Absolutely. All right, we can probably wrap it up there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. All right. Thank you to everybody for watching, listening, whether you're on YouTube or Spotify. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Give us a like on the podcast. Give us a 5-star rating on the podcast. You can follow us really anywhere at Jim Range Pod, whether that's Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or even YouTube, because YouTube has handles now that you can search, presumably. I don't really know how it works, but if you see a verified Jim Range account, that's not us. We didn't pony up the $8 for the verification. So if there's one of those floating around, we are the unverified one.
Yes.
Sweet. All right. For me, for Alex, that's going to do it. See you next time.